Hey kids, welcome back to Smith Motorworks. Got a special treat for you tonight. I'm here with one of my oldest and best friends. Known him since second grade?
Probably second grade.
Yeah. We went to the racetrack. He invited me out to help him push his race car along, and we're going to talk about that. So, tell me, Dave, what got you into racing? You're what, third generation racer?
Grandpa worked on Indy cars, old sprint cars, old dirt cars. Helped Eddie Sachs back in the 50s, 60s, Johnny Thompson, Spider Webb. Those old original Indy cars, not the vacuum cleaners we have today, but
Legends.
yeah, absolutely. Tony Bettenhausen, a lot of those guys. Then Dad ran a midget probably in the 60s until my brother and I came along, couldn't afford it anymore, got rid of the midget. Just always kind of been around it, always sat at Grandpa's house seeing the racing pictures, hearing stories about A.J. Foyt. Grandpa ran around with A.J. Foyt for a while.
That's cool.
I'm doing that kind of stuff. And always wanted to do it as a kid. Went to Perrigan, Putnamville, Kokomo, all that stuff. Winchester as a kid with Grandpa, Dad. We wound up going to the racetrack. It was a normal Saturday night adventure for us when we weren't playing baseball or other sports. It was a race season. We went when we could. Grandpa took us, 500. It was a family affair to go to qualify on opening qualifying week. Me, my brother, my mom, my dad, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, grandma, grandpa.
Family fair.
Yep. So
That's Indiana, by the way. That's where we're at. There's a lot of tracks came and went in Indiana. A lot of them still around. Definitely got to support those guys.
Absolutely. Go to your local dirt track, pavement track. Support the guys that run the local dirt tracks and pavement tracks. Don't get me wrong. NASCAR, IndyCar is cool, but Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon,
What he does is cool.
Kenny Schrader, a lot of those guys. Ricky Stenhouse, Casey Kane. I can start running down the list. Brad Sweet, just all a number of guys that are NASCAR guys or IndyCar guys came from what I do or the type of cars I run, or they came from the local stock car stuff. So there's where you cut your teeth. I'm definitely not any of those guys, but I go have fun.
We had a good night though.
Absolutely.
You had a good night. I got to be a tiny part of it, but I'm glad that I did. So
Get him addicted to it. I tell everybody it's racing.
wheels are an engine, man. I'm in.
Racing is kind of like a drug. It's an addiction, and you get hooked on it. And I tell everybody get your kid interested in racing as a kid, and he'll never have money to spend on drugs. So one way to keep your kid off drugs, get him interested in race cars
Dare to be different.
or cars. Yep, dare to be different.
Yep.
Put your kid into it, and there are options. Put your kid in a race car or yourself in a race car.
Yep. Well, let's check out some of the action.
Absolutely.
Well, there's the car, man.
Yep. Coming to the racetrack, we always get there kind of early anyway, as you found out. But, got to set stagger up, that kind of stuff, kind of get the car prepped, get a good pit spot so it's a decent place to get off a racetrack and not have a lot of trouble.
That's your brother's car, right?
Yep, absolutely. Steve's been running probably, about 10 years now. I've been probably since about 04-ish. I've probably run a sprint car at least one time a year since 04. Usually about a handful of times. Looking at that car, you can see inside of it, there was a steering box that I had, an older one that this has only got a mid-mount type steering in it, and I had an old full box. And like I said, you and I helped me cut it down on your lathe and mill and all that stuff.
I almost screwed it up, but
it worked. But it's sometimes when you're on a budget, you make what you can out of what you do. It worked. I kind of, in my opinion, you probably disagree. I kind of threw the hook out there to try to get you hooked into coming to the racetrack with me. But
I'm down. I impressed with your decades of doing this. You keep at it for a long time. When it was just you funding it, that's impressive. You get to see a little bit of the track here. This is in Paragon, Indiana, and it's spelled Paragon, but we pronounce it that way for profiling purposes, so we know if you're from Indiana or not.
Absolutely, and Paragon's been around probably since the early 50s. Ed Shepard built it. 3/8 mile oval, dirt oval, paperclip shape. If you saw it from the top, it's 2 long drag strips with a couple little corners that are fairly tight. So I think, go out, you wheel pack, which is what you were just looking at, come back in and we hot lap. And our hot laps in this deal, some tracks will do single car qualifying hot laps. We do multi-car qualifying at one time. Dunce me in a hurry, forgot to put my transponder on, so didn't get any lap time, so started in the back of the heat race. I mean, hot laps car felt good, but
Everybody forgets, right?
hey, it wasn't a really super important part that was going to fall off and cause dangerous situation. Just no lap times.
Rather have that missing than something else.
Absolutely. So.
You saw the four-wheelers pushing the guys up to there. They these cars, if you're not familiar with them, are pretty unique. There's not really a transmission to speak of.
No, it's got a shifter. It's got a shifter in the rear end. It's got a quick change rear end, direct drive, torque tube, solid drive shaft from a coupler off of the mounted to the drive shaft or the crankshaft, and a spline basic drive shaft, and you lock it in gear, push start it, and off you go. Basically, in a dirt car, you got a left front brake and basically a center brake near the center of the rear end. So
you describe it as a tractor.
Absolutely. I mean, I kind of came, and I joke about it when I started racing. I was out in Las Vegas, and I worked for Richard Petty Driving Experience, and the first time one of the guys out there saw it, he goes, "Man, this thing's like a tractor. You're driving a tractor." And I said, "Yeah, but it's a pretty fast tractor."
Several hundred horsepower? What?
Depending on what you got, some of the big money guys are making 930. Mine's around the 800 horsepower range. 1,400 pound car with basically a torque tube and a drive shaft run through your legs, and right above that sits the fuel pump and a power steering pump.
I don't know what a Goldwing weighs or something, but man, they don't have 900 horsepower, so that's. You got to think about that power to weight ratio. These things will get it, as you can see here. This is a heat race, right?
That looks like a heat race, yeah, and I was horrible in the heat race. Didn't change the car much. Track got really slick, dusty, as you can see. Spun it out once on the top side, which you can see me there sitting at the top side because I tried to go to the top and there wasn't anything there. So on the restart, still slick, kind of tried to get under a guy, did a 360 and figured at this point in time, me and the car weren't worth a damn. So went from having a good night in hot laps to, oh, this sucks. So
what is it, go big or stay home, right?
yeah, absolutely. Well, I think in the intro we saw go big or stay home, and that's that's
we're
when you
getting
don't.
to that.
So, but no, I mean it's fun. I mean it's a rush that you'll probably not experience. I know there are some driving schools around where you can get in one of these things, but other than that, I've been doing it for so long. I said as a kid at Paragon wanting to do this, never thought I would. So, and here I am, a collection of junk in my garage and race cars. I actually built my own race car.
Yeah, that was impressive.
About 7 years ago, built my own race car, which, the Smith Motor adage, dare to be different, build a
That's what we do, man.
4-coil sprint car in my garage.
But no, to be clear, this is from a pile of tubing and chalk lines on the floor. This wasn't a kit or plans. He just bought the steel,
drew it up,
coped it, welded it. I mean,
so that's
so
another
he
one.
really built it.
Another one of those goals I would always had to build my own sprint car, and I did it. It was okay, a little odd. I mean, it felt like a race car, so.
Got out on the track and ran.
I got going
that's
fast enough. I got going fast enough that I decided that I'm not sure I trust my welder. So we parked that car and moved on to another option. So there's some a little bit of damage from the hit I took in the heat race and 360'd it, and that's why I kind of pulled in. I thought I'm either gonna hurt somebody else or hurt my car, so I just didn't want to tear my stuff up for somebody else's, so we chose to.
But he's back out on that same wheel, right?
Yep, absolutely. Held there. Started dead last in the feature and thought, well, we'll see what happens. Hope the car's better than what it was in the heat race.
Now remember that, dead last. So we're 15.
Guy
Guy blew his car up, right?
Yep.
So there's 15, but he's, because of transponder and pulling off.
I'm dead last. I
Dead
put myself in a
last.
hole. So
This is important later on.
made some wholesale changes. And some guys will think I'm nuts. You tell some guys I really went out with 6 pounds of air in the right rear, 2 pounds of air in the left rear, which is basically trying to get some traction and trying to get some side bite to get these things to work. And I went out just to discuss kind of what I look at when I go out. I went out when we pushed off to line up, and I saw some dark stuff at the top and kind of hit it and said, hey, there's moisture up here, there's traction, so top I went, and that's where I stayed all night. So, started making some progress pretty quick. So, it wasn't the fastest racetrack we've been on, but you take what you got when it's a dirt track, and you find where the car can run. We're plugging away at the top. Had a car I was probably faster than in front of me for a little bit. Didn't want to make a dumb mistake and tear a race car up, because the goal of mine is let's finish as best we can. The goal is you really want to win a race, but I still haven't managed a feature win. But some nights you take what you got and win with it and call it a win.
Yeah, he doesn't have a sponsor saying, "Oh, you need a new one of these." It's all him.
It's
He's got to
all
figure
out
out
of
how to get one.
out of my pocket. So it was a challenge to try to figure out how to get around a slower car without tearing me up or tearing him up. So, and
Look at that.
you can see how quick the monster can bite in open wheel racing.
No, what caused that? I didn't see.
I've
looking
seen
the other way.
I kind of previewed this a little bit. It looks to me like he may have there was a little bit slower car going by, and you run over a wheel. There's no fenders on these things, and you hop a wheel, and the next thing you know, it's only a 1,400 pound car. It's gonna fly pretty quickly, and trust me, I've done this too. And that's a hard one on the pocketbook.
What scared me is that truck pulling in front, because I thought they were trying to hide something that was not viewable.
No, I mean you see the thing laying there, that 26 on it. That's the tail tank. That's full.
This guy was okay. By the
Yep,
way,
everybody.
It looked scary.
Everybody was okay in the making of this.
That you see that car sitting back there, and it looked pretty beat up. Right before that, there was a whole street outlaws type. I'm gonna beat you up, and the sheriffs were over there.
Yep.
So yeah, we try not to do too much of that at tracks, but it
A lot
was there. There
a
was
lot of adrenaline. I mean, and that's what I tell guys. A lot of adrenaline when you're in a race car. It pumps pretty quick, and you gotta. We said three or 4 years ago, I was a lot different. I'd get out of a car and be pretty fired up. And Scott knows my dad. Dad had a pretty fired up temper, and my brother does. I did.
He was a hell of a guy.
So and that's part of why we still race. Is Dad passed away in November, but we're still at the racetrack. We're missing a little help, but he's there with us, and goal this year is to try to get it there for you.
You get a little bit of that adrenaline from somebody here coming up.
Yeah,
Pretty soon here.
you'll see guy starts making some ground on me, and it is what it is, and things get happening quick at the local tracks, just like they do NASCAR or anything else. We all got the same goal, is to get to the front and finish as best we can. So, this guy in the blue car, you see he's catching me. I think the next lap or so, he kind of gets me and rolls in and does what they call a slide job. So the goal when somebody does a slide job is you basically cut it down and turn down under him, which you'll see me do. Drive back under him. And watching the video, I'm pulling down a straightaway. I've been around the top all night, and I've told guys I've had enough laps at this racetrack that you put yourself between the front stretch wall and the car underneath you. Was that my fault? Don't know. Was it his fault? Don't know. I'll call it a racing incident. He was wanting it. You know, choices could have been made different. I didn't. Scott missed it. I had a helmet chucked at me after 18 years of driving a sprint car.
Yeah,
First time that's happened.
I'm too far away to really see it, but yeah, I think some of these guys watch too much TV.
I think too much NASCAR and too much adrenaline got him, and you know, didn't really have a conversation with him afterwards. So it didn't get bad in the pits like the other guys. So you know, that was fortunate enough. And like I said,
I don't think they wanted to take on you and Steve either.
5 years ago, I probably would have handled that different. And I actually talked to my brother, and he figured out what happened. And he said I probably would have stopped on the racetrack and beat the tar out of him right there on the race. I'll use family for beat the tar out of him on the racetrack right there. But him and I have both kind of calmed down a little bit in our older age. You know, if we can say we're calm.
Maybe we're just getting lazy, but
Yeah.
But you know, this was what, 2 yellows and 1 red?
One red, a couple yellows. One of them involved me. I think we have another yellow right towards the end of the race here.
So this isn't watching ping pong. I mean, there's a
Yeah,
lot
we're
going
all-
on.
And you got to understand, I mean, probably not this night. This racetrack, I tell people, you're averaging probably close to 90, 100 mile an hour in the straightaway. I've used the analogy, and I think I explained it to you one time. I know I run Kokomo Speedway. It's a quarter-mile bull ring. I've turned that track in probably a 13.6, and then you compare that to a guy that's a drag racer, straight line on pavement. 13.6 is a pretty quick time. So, but
And they're turning.
and we're turning sideways. Yeah. So, no, and I did wind up pretty good for the night. I mean,
Heck yeah.
the racetrack was not the perfect racetrack, but again, we all got the same racetrack. I tell people that all the time. You know, if I didn't like the racetrack, I could have chose to put it in the trailer and go home. So, but you know,
It was getting close. I was wondering there. You're getting pretty frustrated.
I got frustrated
But,
after the heat race,
and
so-
understandably so. You had a couple, you know, with the transponder, and then you know, just the track condition, and you weren't the only one. There were other people that were upset about it, but
Yep.
you cracked the code, man. You got
we
found out how to get around there.
figured it out, made some changes at work. I think that was a yellow we just came off of. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I started.
Yeah, that's a white
Sixth
flag
I
right there.
started. Yeah, we come for the white flag, which is going to be a white, a green white, and come to a checker. Jim Tibby spun in front of us. The guy that was between me and him kind of jumped him. I think he got hit, but I think he just got back in the gas, and it's, you know, kind of like ice rink sometimes. Spun around. I caught him with the. I tried not to. I caught him with the left front. I don't know if Scott got video of it or not, but by the time this is over with, so this is coming to another green-white checker, and the car in front of me again jumps to the guy in front of him. You know, I'm at this point, I think I'm running 6th maybe. So what winds up happening here, you know, I'm still hold my spot. The 4 car that jumped him got docked to 2 spots for jumping. But that still means I ran from 13th or 14th up to 5th by the time the night's over with. So
This is 20 laps?
20 laps.
Yeah, so he didn't have a lot of time to do that.
You know,
Big
exactly.
move.
You're turning, I think that night we're probably turning on average 16-second laps, maybe somewhere in there. So 20 laps at 16 seconds a lap.
Plus with all the stops, you know,
Couple of
he had
yellows.
really.
And the reality of it is, night started out good, went to hell in a handbasket, and, you know, by the time it's over with, it was really a good night. I mean, by the
So-
time we finished 5th in the feature.
Yeah, so from dead last to middle third.
Yep.
So top third.
And I'll tell guys, I mean, driving a sprint car in the state of Indiana is, you got guys from California, Phoenix coming here to try to make careers out of driving sprint cars. So running a sprint car in the state of Indiana is probably one of the, if not the toughest place to run a sprint car in the United States. The second toughest is probably California, where there's some pretty tough guys out in California. But those guys are coming here to get better and to get noticed. So, you know, it was a good night. I'm glad Scott could come.
I'm glad you invited me, buddy.
You know, and I highly suggest all of you, like I said earlier, go to your local
Gotta do it.
racetrack.
Gotta do it.
You gotta go to your local
There's
racetrack.
others in the Midwest, so, you know,
On
we
a
want
set-
you to come to Indiana. We got, you know, basketball, corn, taxes, what else? No,
yeah,
racing.
Racing,
Yeah,
racing.
so
Racing
we're known
capital
for
of-
that.
Racing capital of the world, but if no matter where you live and you're watching this, go support your local racetrack. Indianapolis area, there's Paragon, Putnamville,
Lots of history with some of those.
Lawrenceburg, I mean, Kokomo, I mean, there's a handful of racetracks. 3 nights a week we could run sprint cars if you could afford it and do it, or go see them. Take your kid to the racetrack. I mean, take him down to the pits after the racetrack. Or, you know, the nice thing about this game is you can buy a pit pass and go into pits and be close to it.
It's real accessible. I mean, I haven't seen anything like that outside of drag racing. Where you
Correct.
can get that close to the car and the crew, and these guys, they're all like a community. They help each other out, and they see somebody interested in it, they're going to talk to them. We talked to a guy that builds scale models.
Scale models,
He
yes.
builds scale models. I mean, he came up, he was really checking out the cars and
Taking
it's
pictures and telling you know, if it
where,
wants
where
scale
else can
model.
you do that? You know, you can't get up close to any sport and really check it out. So-
And really, comparatively speaking, yeah, you might be able to get in the pits at NASCAR, but it's a $35 pit pass at most of the racetracks here.
It's not the same, you know.
You
You know, it's all good, it's fun, but it's like it's sad because it used to be so common and so popular, but it is dare to be different now to get out there and check out these open wheel guys because it's fun. The sights, the sounds, the smells. I mean, you know, the fuel. If you go to a drag race and you smell that stuff, you get the same fuel there.
You're basically running. We're basically running the same fuel without the nitro in it.
yeah, it's.
Pure methanol without the nitro.
So you get this immersive experience. If you're down with that, I mean, it's something better than, you know, watching Netflix or something.
And if you want to get involved, find a guy that has a race car. Go talk to him. Everybody's always looking for help. Everybody wants to grow this sport. Everybody
That's
wants
all I
to,
got out there.
Everybody wants to see more fans in the stands. Whether you sit in the stands or whether you come to the pits, you know, be involved. So, and you know, while everybody else is going to the hockey games, the football games, or something, like Scott says, dare to be different. Go to your local racetrack.
You heard it. Hey kids, there's another one in the can. Hope you learned something about sprint car racing and what it's all about, and maybe you'll try to check it out yourself. You know, at one time there were 213 tracks in the state of Indiana. At this point, there's only 20 dirt tracks and 15 paved tracks left. So get out there and support them. Dare to be different. Do that homework. Like, subscribe, share. Definitely please comment. Love to hear what you think. We'll see you next time. Smith Motorworks.
Started out okay, then went to hell, and then wound up pretty decent.